Hi, welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to another Fan Zone. I'm here with Laurie. Laurie, you well?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's nice and hot, both in and outside the building, man.
But hey, boiling in here.
Listen, you know me. I say all the time, I'd rather it like this. And when it, in a month's time or less, it's probably going to get real cold in London, man. Everyone will be bawling. Oh, man, it's freezing.
That's very true. It's very true. I'd rather it
give
like
me
this.
the heat.
Amen. Right, listen, guys. Straight away off the bat, you know what time it is. It is the live. There is a Fan Zone live, which means all you have to do is head over to the AFTV Plus app and come and join us. Come and join the conversation. We've got a big one today. Mr. Thomas Partey. It's a talking topic. We did player ratings, which you can check out on the channel. Player ratings of the games that have been played so far. I marked Thomas Partey quite low due to his injury record and him being available. I always say availability for me is a big part of your ability.
Yeah, but it's got nothing to do with his performance on the pitch.
Of course not. But there's definitely something that it's something we have to flag up and discuss because he's missed 43 games, Laurie, for Arsenal Football Club so far through injury. That's more than a season. And yes, I know a lot of fans are going to see this title and think, well, what do you mean? Like, this team is better with Thomas Partey in it, and I understand that. Which
I agree with.
Okay, but a 30-year-old man who's constantly injured, missing big games, there's a conversation here that needs to be had is, should we have sold him maybe when his price was high in this window that was just finished? Or are fans ready to move on from Thomas Partey now? And I think they will be because of the Declan Rice has now arrived. And obviously we have Jorginho. I'm not saying that him and Jorginho are on the same level, but there'll be a conversation to be said. Is it time to look past Thomas Partey because
we got to fight him
at the moment?
For the right to party. Beastie Boys, that's before your time, isn't it?
That is before my time. That is before my time.
So now you know people who come up with this title, me.
But I know about the tune, and I'm sure there'll be many people fighting for Partey and maybe going against what I'm saying here, that we should be looking past Partey. Maybe we should have looked past him in the pre-window, but it's definitely right to talk about. And I mean, you've seen the video probably on the channel as well. He's out for 6 weeks, and that means he misses games against Everton away, which we have next. Which
not so fast because they're saying up to 6 weeks, so we don't know. I mean, let's be honest. People said a similar thing about Jesus, and he returned quicker than expected. So
I appreciate the correction.
Hoping.
I appreciate the correction. So
no, you could well be right. I'm just making the distinction that we don't know for certain that it's going to be 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Okay, well, we'll go off.
We're hoping it'll be less.
We're hoping it'll be less. Of course, me as an Arsenal fan, I want to see Thomas Partey back inside, playing in centre defensive mid, not right back. I want to see him back. But if we're going to go off the 6 week time span that's been, put in the press, it means he'll miss Everton away, tough game. Spurs. Another big game, let's be real. Bournemouth, not so big. Man City as well, and that's not to include obviously, and that's also including the 2 Champions League fixtures, one against PSV Eindhoven and also Lens. So those are big games, and he's missed big games in the past. One that comes to mind was Man City at home. We lost 3-1. That's one that comes straight to mind. He wasn't in the squad for that because due to injury. I think it was a tight, don't quote me, tight hamstring off fire, one of the two, but he was out for that. Another massive game and was kind of in the charge for the title. And everyone always goes, we don't deserve to be champions because we didn't beat Man City at home or away. So that's a game where you might have affected, and he wasn't available for that. And I think there's many. But Thomas Partey, I think it's right to hear from you guys, hear from myself and Laurie as well on the whole issue of should we be looking past him as something that's a concern for you? Because for me, it's probably my biggest concern. We're in an international break currently, but going back into Premier League football and Champions League football, my main concern right now is this Partey injury. It's not, and also is if another player gets injured on international break. And the reason why I bring it up is because I want to go through the players that Arsenal currently have on international duty, whereas some other clubs, some other managers find ways to, he's not available due to a knock. And we're going to have a conversation about that as well before we get the callers lined up. But firstly, here we go. David Raya, he's away with Spain. Gabriel Magalhaes, Martinelli and Jesus are all away with Brazil, okay? Trossard is away with Belgium. Zinchenko with Ukraine. And for England, we have Nketiah, Ramsdale, Rice and Saka. And Hein as well, but we don't have to, not going to mention Hein because he's obviously not a regular feature in this Arsenal side. Havertz is with Germany. Tomiyasu is with Japan. Kivior's away with Poland. This is a lot of players.
No, but that's what you get with a team like Arsenal that has so many quality players and they're representing their countries at international level. None of those players are really going to want to miss out on opportunities. Some of those games are qualifiers for various tournaments like Euros. Some of them are friendlies, but even so, players will always say to you that their ambitions will be to represent their countries. So we can understand that.
But do you understand? Do you think that Arsenal should be a bit more savvy? And I agree with you. There's players that play for certain nations where you can't go against not being called up and being injured, shall we say. But do you think Arsenal should be smarter in some of the players that they keep? Because I've seen Liverpool do it a lot recently, where they say players injured. Or
so are you suggesting that Liverpool are being somewhat economical with the truth?
Yeah, I am suggesting that. Yes, I know.
Fergie used to do that. Big thing to say, right?
Fergie used to, United used to keep a lot of their players back and not make them go to international duty because
I guess it's the emphasis on the injury. Because as much as I've heard this stuff about Liverpool and Trent and Mo Salah and one or two others, Liverpool being reticent to release them, I would imagine there is some kind of injury. Maybe Liverpool are playing on it a little bit and maybe embellishing it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure they don't go around making things up.
No, but
because then certainly the players would say, well, actually, no, I'm all right.
But I hear it. But if it's just like a one-off friendly, like the England-Scotland game is it's like a testimonial match. I know there's rivalry there, but it realistically, would you want to risk? I personally, if I'm Mikel Arteta and I see Bukayo Saka and I know Gareth Southgate's going to want to play him, I'm saying, is it really important for you?
Yeah, but I think 9 times out of 10, I honestly think, Cecil, that the players are going to want to represent their countries at international level, especially if they're at the start of that journey. You know what I mean? Especially countries like England and places like that. Can you imagine Brazil? I mean, I think if I'm right, Gabriel only got the spot because somebody else pulled out. When I say Gabriel, I'm talking about Gabriel Jesus.
Oh, I think it was Martinelli. Jesus fought it for Brazil.
Yeah.
I think it was Martinelli that
Anthony pulled out and then, or something like that. That's what I heard.
Okay, I think it was Martinelli.
So one of those Gabbies, either Jesus or Magalhaes, right?
Or Martinelli.
Sorry, Martinelli.
So many Gabbies.
Yeah, Jesus they only got the spot because somebody pulled out. Is he really going to turn that down? Especially like a high-profile country like Brazil in terms of football, where what I mean.
Brazil, I think is a bit. Brazil's a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. But listen, but we are going to continue with the theme of.
But we're digressing.
Yeah, we are digressing.
We're here to talk about Thomas
Partey, and for me, I need to ask you, and we got some other things to touch on as well in this live before we get to the callers. But Thomas Partey, where are you at? Because he started the season at right back.
I told you where I'm at. I'm fighting for the right to Partey. So let's look at it. So
go on. You run through what
you arrived at the club 2020. 45 million, I think it was, from Atletico Madrid.
With rarely any injuries for Atletico
to much fanfare. You did a video, didn't you?
Don't you dare. Your brother did a video.
My brother did a video.
Don't you dare. And I can be shameless. I have got dance videos, but
you did what I call the Arctic lorry turn.
Like this.
So he arrived to much fanfare,
yes.
Right?
Good and business. Just put my headphones on. Let me know if when we're back there is some technical difficulties going on.
Okay.
But do let me know. team in production if we are back. Okay, and we are
we're
back.
back. We're back.
In.
All right.
So,
Somebody tried to cut me off in my prime there.
Yeah, carry on. Keep running because you're giving.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, Atletico, right? 2015 to 20, he'd only missed 7 games, if my research is correct. He's rocked up at Arsenal in October 2020 to much fanfare, as I said. He's been at the club since then. He's missed 43 games. He's only been made available for 64% of the games that he could have played in an Arsenal shirt in that time. A lot of people, yourself I'm sure included, would say that is not a great return given the amount of money that we spent on the player. And I would actually agree with that. However, there are a lot of positives to what Thomas Partey brings. I thought last season he was outstanding for the vast majority of the season. I've made a note here of his attributes. His good positional awareness. Good at pressing, good tackler, wins most of his duels, is a good dribbler, good in possession, provides good cover for the centre backs and the full backs. A very influential player, gets around the pitch, and he added goals to his game last season. So there are a lot of positives there. Yes, the injuries have been a negative, but I don't think. I mean, if you look at it logically, so he's been at 3-4 seasons now. Mm-hmm. And I think the first couple of seasons he played 20 odd games, and the last season he played 33 league games, and of course he's only played 3 so far and he's got injured again.
And missed,
I think what's happened is,
game.
Obviously now we've got Declan Rice and Jorginho. A lot of people are now looking at the situation saying, well, if this injury record persists, it might be time to look elsewhere because we are covered in that position. But I'm here to say that we are a better team with Thomas Partey in the team and playing him, I might add, in his natural position.
Okay,
which is defensive midfield.
In his natural position, 100%.
Not right.
There's an argument that's correct that we are. That's I agree with you there. We are better side with him in it. However, we got to think. I'm thinking long term, thinking further ahead. The age of the player, 30 years old. We mentioned
that's not a death sentence, is it? 30.
It's not. I'm not. No, I'm adding. I'm having. You gave your points.
Fine,
I'm just adding to my argument as well. 30 years old, and obviously, yes, he played the majority of last season, tailed off towards the end. He did miss, like I mentioned, there were three games, but these were big games that he missed last season. On top of that, he missed a lot of big games towards the start of his reign at Arsenal, and we've got to be ruthless. I think Mikel Arteta is very aware of this and probably is thinking ahead. And I understand Declan Rice being in, it might cover the argument of Partey. You know, it doesn't matter if he's out because we've got Declan Rice. But for me, I'm thinking we can move on and still improve on that in that position. We missed out on, we didn't get Caicedo and we didn't get Lavia, even though Lavia is currently injured. But that's more thinking now for the future. And those players, I don't believe, will be too far behind Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey is a great player, has great
that's what I was going to ask
Arsenal.
you. In normal circumstances, when he's fit and in a team playing in his correct position, does he enhance Arsenal as a football team? I'm pretty sure we both agree that he does.
We do, but Declan,
would you describe him as one of the best defensive midfielders in the Premier League on form?
Yes, but Declan Rice in there as well, which I've seen. Yeah, the performance against Man United, I can also say.
But what I'm saying to you is that if we analyse the time since he's been here, so he came here in October 2020.
Yeah.
In that first season, I think he played 24 games. The season after that, 24 games. Last season, 33 games. And yes, okay, this season he's only played 3 games, he's injured. But like I said, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. He might be a quick healer and he might heal quickly. So the loss, the damage might not be that bad. But what I'm saying is, over the time that he's been in the team, I think he's proved himself to be a very good player. I would argue that last season he was one of our most influential players on the way to us putting in that good title run. So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater yet, my friend.
Okay, that's Laurie's argument. I know we've got some callers waiting, but let me tell you this: where I'm at as a fan, Partey, I think Arsenal need to start looking towards, maybe the January window or the summer window to now start looking to improve on. But the reason I'm even going to back this up by saying, if I was in Arsenal's position on the board, I'd be even looking at Jesus and thinking, if I see another knee injury or another injury again, that's where I'm at.
Wow.
And I think the fan base, listen, don't get it twisted. I think we are looking at striker cover or getting another striker anyway. I think if we see another Jesus injury him go down, not it being his fault, I'll be questioning that and thinking this can't keep happening. So that's my thoughts. But anyway, let me just quickly
No,
go.
listen, just very quickly, I can see why you have those concerns. I'm not going to be blasé to that. But what I am saying is that we should also counterbalance by saying when he is in the team and playing in his rightful position, he is one of the best players at the club. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. And on balance, given that I said last season he did only miss 5 Premier League games because he played in 33 of them, I don't think that's enough for us to start saying, oh, we're just going to dash him out just like that.
All right, well, okay, fair enough. Let me go to Brian's super chat quickly before we go to the callers. Brian says, start architecting Partey's exit, ! So I don't know if he's on, I believe he might be on the side over this side, the left side, my side, to say, it's time to maybe start looking at Partey's exit plan. But let's see what the callers have to say, because this is what this is about. Join the AFTV Plus app. It is working. It is live. We've got 3 callers waiting. Let's get straight into this. Headphones on, Laurie. Let's see who we got to speak with first. So who is that? We got Damesh on the line. Damesh, hello.
Damesh.
Hello, where are you calling from, Damesh?
From Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan.
Oh, wow.
Wow. This FANZONE really reaches anywhere. Love that,
man,
Kazakhstan.
love that,
Sorry, Ran, what time is it over there? I want to what time is it over there right now? Oh, I've just lost the sound from Damesh. I think he said 8 p.m, but I'm reading his lips. I can't hear his actual voice. I don't know if the sound
Can we come back to him?
With Damesh. Can you hear it?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear him now. Okay.
Damesh will return. Apologies for that technical difficulties, but I'm sure he will return. Kazakhstan, though, by the way.
Yeah, Kazakhstan, man. I'm aware of Kazakhstan through, because, I'm a big boxing fan, and Kazakhstan produces some very good boxers, notably Triple G.
Okay, before we go to the next call, I've got a super chat saying, Demi says, if it was you, would you want the same ? So that is on the fact that if it was you as a player, would you want the same? Now,
I don't quite get that. What do you mean?
So if you were the, if
I was the manager,
if you was the player, would you want the same treatment? I'm guessing what he said. This I'm taking from what I've read here. It might be something completely different. But let me tell you this.
Oh, I read that somewhat differently. My interpretation of that is the manager in the club. I mean, what are they getting for the return on their investment in terms of he's not able to play as many games as they would have liked.
Okay, so give your thoughts on what you took from it.
I've made my position quite clear. I have concerns about the injury record, but I'm saying that given the performances that the players put in and how influential he is in the team, I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. Okay,
and my thing is, I'm looking at it from if I was the player, would I want the same? Simply, I've seen people go to clubs and they've looked at the past injury history, no matter how good the player is, and not had a career from it, not been able to sign a contract due to their past injury history. Apologies. So this is the roof. It's Arsenal football. It's top level football.
He did play 33 of the 38 Premier League games.
He's missed 43 games.
Yeah, in total.
That's more than a year. That's not okay.
It's not okay. But what I'm saying is, are we exaggerating a little here?
I don't think so.
He played 33 of the 38 games.
Okay, let's see if Chris agrees.
And he was outstanding.
We got Chris on the line. Let's see if Chris agrees. Chris.
Okay.
What's going on?
What's going on, brother? Which side do you stand on here? The Thomas Partey debate here. Is it now time to look at it and think, look,
is the party over, or should the party carry on?
See, for me, Partey's been a great servant of the club. I can't lie, but I'm gonna maybe shock you with my view. I'm not gonna lie. I personally think Arteta didn't have Partey in his starting 11 this season. I think he had Julian Timber doing the inverted right back, what Partey is doing because he got injured. Declan Rice was going to play the holding mid. Havertz was going to play the 8. But in my opinion, Havertz is never going to be the 8. Havertz is supposed to be the second striker. So he's supposed to join Nketiah and join Jesus. He's not really supposed to play that midfield role. Obviously, us as fans, we're like, where's our defensive stability? Where's Partey was so strong for us, all this kind of stuff. But that's just my view on it. So in my opinion, we need, just to bring it back to Thomas Partey, if we need to get a replacement for him, personally, the injuries is annoying to say the least. The injuries need to stop. He needs to get to a point where he can either keep his body fit or he just needs to be happy with being a squad player if Arteta is happy for him to be a squad player.
Interesting.
Your thoughts on that? Because I liked what you said at the beginning there, to be honest, because it's hard for me to think of Arteta thinking without Partey in the side for the starting 11. But I understand, you're right, Timber was there. He inverts. Declan Rice, it seems like he was going to be a favourite for Mikel Arteta. He loves Havertz, so he's constantly in the side regardless.
It's interesting what he says about Timber, because of course now we know that Timber's suffering a long-term injury himself. So
it's annoying. It's annoying.
It is.
It's the curse.
But would you agree with me that last season, Thomas Partey was one of our most influential players on the way to that very good season we had, where we ended up challenging City till pretty much the last few weeks of the season. In fact, some would go as far as to say that
don't do it.
No, but some people have said it.
Don't you dare say the most influential.
Up until the injury,
Saliba was the clear.
Yeah, okay, but some people have said that Saliba stroke Partey injury was what cost it for us. Those two guys. I mean,
no,
I think to be fair,
Chris,
Partey's
I didn't hear no one say Partey. I heard him say he dropped off towards the end of the season, and that kind of led to it.
Okay,
but I never heard him say because of his injury, we lost. I heard Saliba when he went down and Holder come in. Yes, that's where things went wrong.
Yeah, because it's easier to make that assessment because the amount of goals we conceded. But what I'm saying is, Thomas Partey, especially in the early part of the season, early to mid till he got injured, was one of our better players last season. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Chris and Laurie, quick, go on, Chris.
One thing I feel that he counteracts that with not being able to keep fit. Like, I would agree with you. I'd be like, yeah, 100%. Like, I would even say if he kept fit, Partey and Rice need to battle out for that 6 role. Yeah. Because I feel like Jurriën Timber was playing left back because Zinchenko wasn't fit. In my opinion, I'm not Arteta, in my opinion. But Jurriën Timber, I think, was going to do that inverted right back, and also he can play centre back, so he could do similar to what Partey does regarding breaking up play in that centre midfield, kind of what Partey was doing in the first couple of games of the season. So I genuinely think Partey was supposed to be the backup for Rice. I know fans are going to be like, what? But
I was looking forward to them playing together.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know what, Lee Judges said something on Forever Arsenal, shout out Forever Arsenal, but I think Rice is someone that you just need to let him do what he does. You got to let him go, you got to let him, and I think, like he said in the interview after the Man United game, he is a 6, he would like to play the 6, but I feel he can just do everything. He's that engine.
No, I would agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I would agree.
All right, well, listen, Chris, thank you so much for
joining
us.
Thanks, man. Interesting call. I like his take on
100%. Yeah. Have a lovely weekend, Chris, man. Take care, my bro.
Yeah, man. Later.
Take care. Stephen, I believe, is waiting in the wings and coming straight on. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I think calling from Leeds.
Okay.
Calling from Leeds. Yeah, I think I saw Ciso just after Fulham game, actually.
Yeah, I recognise
your
face. Yeah, I recognise your face. Big up, man. Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, I'm always trying my best to come and watch Arsenal here. Yeah, this is actually kind of like a cool kind of like topic, really. Partey is a little bit of shaky, but we've got to understand that this guy, man, he's getting old. That's what's there. We can't hide away from that. He's not a young fella, and these things will keep coming back.
Yeah, especially in that position that he's playing. He's playing in such a demanding position. The 6 is so, for Arsenal as well, you've got to be able to slot in when it comes to defending. You've got to be able to break up play. You've got to be able to, like Declan Rice, as he spreads the ball from each side, bridges the defence to attack. So it's a demanding position. Listen, Casemiro's old as well, and he does it as well. So I can't say it's a complete age thing, but I think as fans or as Arsenal Football Club should be looking at this and thinking, we've got to kind of manage this.
Mind you, it's only right for me to remind you guys that Jorginho is actually older than Partey.
Yeah, but Jorginho is not playing more though. He's playing a lot, and remember last year Partey went injured and then come back. So I think he was probably like 70-80%, and then people are like, oh, he's going down, but he was playing injured. You see, so we've got to put all this kind of like stuff in there.
Yeah, because you got to admit, you talk about Jorginho, but you keep going back to Partey, how much games he played last season. Jorginho already came in and then only covered every now and then. It's not like
My point in mentioning the games he played last season is because of the reputation he has for injury. I think it gets lost on some people that he actually played 33 out of 38 Premier League games. So okay, he missed 5, right? Say those 5 are all for injury. I would say that is not an unbelievably bad injury record, is it?
Steve, okay, still
that season,
yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to in total 43 games,
so it's an improvement on the previous 2 seasons where he'd played 24 in each.
Steve, just before you go, would you look to improve in that position coming in the next January window? If you had 2 positions to look at, where would you go in the January window?
To be honest, I think So definitely we need to start thinking of Partey cover. Like I say, his injuries will keep coming back. We definitely have to kind of like cover for him. And you talked about Jorginho there. Yep. Jorginho is not getting younger, so I'm sure Jorginho is already doing his coaching badge. So very soon, I think definitely Rice will need a lot of help. And if we leave him, he's just going to be like Thomas Partey. He'll get touched with, hopefully not, but you probably ended up getting injuries. We know this is Arsenal. Probably the other one. This is a joke, but I think we need our kind of like our medical team. I think we need to kind of like have new ones of those ones, because everyone who comes to Arsenal get injured. But right now, to be honest, I trust Arteta with what he's done. Okay. So I just think like I definitely we need a Rice backup.
Nice.
That's the one I would think.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. You've been a legend, man. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you very much.
Having your say. Big up. We've got, I believe, Aaron. I think it's Aaron next. Aaron's coming up next. Laurie, that's 2. I think it's coming onto my side here now. So I'm just saying. I know, and I'm not dismissing how good Partey's been for Arsenal. But let's hear from Aaron right now. That Rugrats draw. What? That is a loud.
Oh yeah.
No, Aaron, that's a throwback, boy. I like that.
Oh yeah. I'm a 90s baby, so yeah, I'm very nostalgic. Yeah, definitely part of my childhood. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on. But big
90s babies to the end, man. Big up, man. But Aaron, where are you calling in from quickly?
I'm actually calling from Arizona here in the U.S.
Amazing.
Oh right, Arizona. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So big fan of all you guys. So Robbie, Cecil, all you guys. Big fan.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Let's get straight into this then, bro. Thomas Partey, where are you at? Listen, it's a lot of injuries now. He's potentially out for 6 weeks. We've got some big games coming up. What are your thoughts? Is it time to look to the future, or is it just stick with him because we need him?
We can look to the future, and I'm not against that. And I'm actually going to say like a hot take, and some people are trying to think I'm crazy. In my personal opinion, the only thing that's kept Partey from being world class is his injury status. Okay. And for me, I think that because Rodri is the benchmark, I think we all can agree that Rodri is the benchmark when it comes to that 6th position. Mm-hmm. And I personally think if Partey had that same injury record that Rodri does, how he's always in, rarely gets injured, always plays whenever he can, I think Partey would be in that same class as Rodri is right now. I truly believe that, because every time I watch him, I'm like, you can just leave him by the Partey by himself. He doesn't really need that help. He can carry that back line by himself. That's how I view it. I love his passing, love his defense attributes, his tackling. I love all of that.
He's even goals to his game last season as well.
Exactly, he can put in that goal, so kind of like a little bit like a Rodri, every now and then. Mm-hmm. And so that's my personal take when it comes to Partey. Now, when it comes looking towards the future, like I said, I'm not against it at all, and I think it'll be the smart move. I don't think we need to get rid of him. I know he's 30. I know in soccer terms that's considered old. But I think we can still use him for sure. And personally for me right now, the best midfield that we have is Partey, Odegaard, Rice.
Okay.
And I think when Partey plays that six role, I think it especially allows Rice to just go there with the front with the attacking line and just contribute, kind of like Xhaka, what Xhaka did for us last year. Let him just contribute however he can. Doesn't have to be goals. Just get in there in the box in that left channel between Jesus and Martinelli, assuming just assuming that's our front three: Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. Just get in there in that front three, left channel, and then Odegaard on the right side with Saka, and let Rice do what he does best, help out however he can. I think Partey can handle that back line very well. I don't think he needs help in that. But like I said, it's the injury. I say it's for me. Every time I watch him play, I'm like, oh crap, when is it? Just like kind of just waiting for the injury to happen. Like, how long is it going to be before he gets out? It's unfortunate that guys that come to us who've had great injury records like Partey and Timber. It's unfortunate how the minute they get to us, now they're very vulnerable. They injured. It's like, what's going on here? Like,
there's some questions. We've got to ask some questions about that. Is it the training? Is it the intensity? Is it? I don't know what it is, but it seems like there's a cursor at Arsenal where they come and players get injured. You're right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Though, I am in agreement with you about that midfield. That's a midfield that I'd be excited to see. Thomas Partey, Odegaard, and Rice. So yeah, let's hope we can see that before not too long.
I think Arteta was building for that. I mean, Rice always speaks about he's learning so much and he's trying to adapt to new positions, but he's most comfortable in that 6th role, and we've seen that. We've seen him play there, and he looked very comfortable. So it's going to be interesting. I think that's what Arteta wants, but due to Partey's injury, I think now it's kind of, even though he was playing him at right back, I think he's just making things work. But you said he's world class. If it wasn't for the injury record, and I mean, I don't know if you've seen his Zinchenko interview where he speaks about Partey He's better than Rodri. He speaks it on 5 with Rio, and I'm just like, maybe that's not a massive hot take. I just feel like, yeah, this injury thing is a big hindrance to him, and it probably hinders his game. I think if he was a fully fit Thomas Partey, he's undeniable how good he is. It's completely
I mean, yeah, he was top 3 DMs in the league last year. It's him, Casemiro, and Rodri. And like, honestly, it's like. Honestly, I think if you put him in that Man City, like if his track record was good, I think he could replace Rodri. And like if Rodri wasn't there, and Partey was at Man City, he could hold it down, and Man City would be just as good.
100%. Well, listen, thank you so much for joining us, my brother. Thank you for having your say, man. We'll see you again very soon, I'm sure. Good caller. Make sure you join back in when we do another fan zone. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me. Take care.
We've got Dre in next as well. Hey, Dre, what's going on? You okay?
I'm in the Bill Cecil. You're not my guy right now, You've been too harsh on Partey. I feel like you've been harsh on him for a long time now.
He's got an agenda.
I've been on to you, Cecil. I can't lie, because Partey's my guy. So every time it gets to Cecil, I'm like, here we go again.
Come then. Let's talk about it.
Too much.
Let's talk about it, because, bro, 43 games, big Thomas Partey, big games that he's missed.
He's conveniently missing out.
Laurie, don't worry. I'm ready for it.
All right, yeah, carry on.
Now, go on. So you said 43 games
43 games missed.
Laurie made a good point, though. You have to remember, a lot of that came at the start of his Arsenal career. Last season is a typical example. I think he's been here for 3 seasons. I think the first one was severely hampered. Then he had half of the second season where it was hampered. But then if you notice last season, Arteta managed his games quite well last season. And he actually played 30-odd games in the Premier League for us.
So why is he injured now then? How is he playing now already?
Look at Timber.
He's playing that position. He's having to play 2 positions.
Oh, is this what we're doing?
No, you could argue the manager is not actually managing Partey the way he managed him last season. He's doing a lot. He's having to play right back against these wingers. We saw what happened against that England under-21 international. I've forgotten his name. Where he skinned them a few times. It's hard. You're playing against young, pacey wingers. That's not Partey's game. He needs to sit at the base and control the games. He's not doing that anymore. And I also feel that the Arsenal fan base has been very harsh on Partey as well. It's like a new shiny toy that's come in, Rice. I love Rice, by the way. So this is no insults to Rice. But it seems like we've just forgotten how good Partey was all of a sudden. And all of a sudden now we're just talking after one game against Man United. Oh yes, I'm hearing Rice could be our player of the season, etc., etc. But I remember last season Partey put in equally as good performances.
Yeah, that's what I said, bro. That's what I said.
He was never mentioned
bro.
Thank you, Laurie. I'm with you, Laurie, today.
Yeah, I said that when we had that good run.
Hold on.
I'm ready for you.
Hold on. Are we not saying that Partey didn't fall off towards the tail end of the season?
He did.
Don't be saying he was levels for the whole season. We're not doing that.
For that
Okay,
as well. I've got notes here for you today, mate.
Bring the notes, like, bring your dissertation. Let's do this.
So my argument against that is you have to take into consideration it wasn't only Partey that fell off last season, but it seems the narrative is it's just Partey, and the only reason why that is because we had a replacement in Jorginho for him. I quite remember Odegaard and Saka also tailing off at the end of the season, but nobody mentions them. It's only Partey because we had a replacement, so it looked like as if it was him that was the issue. Odegaard padded his stats near the end of the season. By that time, we'd already lost the league. But you all forget that, and it's always, Partey fell off at the end of the season. But we forget Saka also fell off, and I love Saka to bits, but other players fell off as well. But it's Partey's the narrative that Arsenal fans are running with, that he's the only one that fell off at the end of the season. Because you've said it a number of times today, but you can't argue with Odegaard and Saka.
That's what I'm saying. I'll agree with you there.
But can I just say something?
No. I'm responding to this because you're right. And Saka did fall off, and I'm a big Saka fan. I will agree with that. But you just told me we managed Partey's games last season, but he still fell off.
Well, we all saw it. We all saw it. Because the Europa League, he hardly
If I could just get a word in there, right? I
Sure.
love your analogy of the shiny new toy. Because that's exactly how I feel. Because
completely
what Arsenal
disrespected
fans should
Partey.
be saying is, right, I want to see
them together.
demon partnership of
Thank
him,
you.
Odegaard and Rice.
It's
I'm
like
not
they just want to move him to the side like he doesn't count. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, we were talking about this guy being better than Rodri and Casemiro last season. He was actually amazing. He controlled games. When Partey's not playing for us, we play different. Look at the impact. But all of a sudden, we've forgotten that completely. It's Rice and no. We should not say
I
that.
said it at the top of the show. I said last season when we were doing well, it was arguable that he was one of our most influential players.
I was only saying Saliba. You're forgetting that Partey.
No, you're not twisting my words. He's saying, don't do that. You're twisting my words. He's saying it fell apart because when Partey was injured. I'm saying let's not forget Saliba was the main reason for that.
No, he was.
But Partey's in that as well.
I said one off.
Okay,
one off.
and I'm agreeing with you there.
Yeah,
I'm not taking away from Partey's ability. Let's make this clear. The strongest midfield we've mentioned in the last caller: Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. That I agree with that 100%. But you cannot look away from this injury record. I hear what you lot are saying. I like.
What did I say at the start? I hear you. I agree with that. It hurts me. By the way, I'm parents are Ghanaian, so I'm Ghanaian as well. So it hurts my national team as well. We literally played yesterday a qualifier for the African Nations Cup. Our star man is not there, and it happens a lot. So I'm not excusing that. But what I'm trying to say is, what hurts me the most is how quickly Arsenal fans have forgotten how good this guy has been for us, especially last season. And also, the manager has not helped him because, as I said as an example, he had a replacement last season in Jorginho. I thought it was harsh. He was harshly dropped because it made it look like he was the reason. And he literally only came at the end of the season and he played him at right back. This season, you've moved him out of his position and playing him right back, asking him to invert from the right back position, something he's clearly not too comfortable with. But I agree with James as well. Clearly. He hasn't actually been that bad, but it's just not good for how we were last season in terms of why overlapping it.
And maybe even that is a backhanded compliment because, why didn't he choose Jorginho in that role?
He can't run that.
Exactly.
Laurie.
No, but listen, I think the caller makes some excellent points. And like I said, the analogy with the shiny toy syndrome is perfect because that's kind of what I was thinking too. Like all of a sudden, Declan Rice come in, everyone's and listen, I love Declan Rice, you love Declan Rice, people love Declan Rice. But what I'm saying is, I want to see that combination with him, Partey and Odegaard in midfield because I think that is our best combination.
And I agree with it. Before we go back to the call and kind of round up, but I hear what you're saying about the shiny toy. I do want to caveat it by saying, when Havertz did the miss, I cussed Saka as well for his miss. I think it was just as bad, if not worse. And then on top of that, I also want to say as well that I started the top of this show saying, I'm now looking at Jesus to say, if you get injured again, we got to start having some conversation about your injury record. So I want people to understand. I'm trying to keep it fair. I have been on Partey though, so I respect you. I have been on him, and I'll give you that. I think he's a quality player, but I have to keep it real. But
the last thing I'll say is, he puts in like last season in particular, there's a lot of 8 and 9 performances out of 10, but because it seems like with him it just goes under the radar. No one ever really said like Rice played well in this last game. I'm already hearing Turkish everybody, he could be player of the season. I'm like, raw, they put in these performances last season, nobody mentioned him. And I'm just like, we're not really being fair here in my opinion, but maybe it's my biasness being Ghanaian, but I don't know. But I just think it's not the same energy.
Listen, bro, my background is Jamaican and I'm back in Partey.
We're going to send you a Ghanaian passport after today, Laurie. You're one of us.
My brother, if we had any Jamaicans in this side,
And Cecil, you are not allowed in Ghana. You are not allowed.
My African brothers and sisters, it's all love. You know it anyway, my people. I have to keep it real. But listen,
Respect,
big up my bro.
man, yeah.
Great call, man. Great call, man. Good
Great
to
call.
see
You must
soon.
call back, man. You must
Wicked.
call back.
Definitely.
Love. Simon up next. Thank you so much. That was a great call. Simon, are you there? Oh, am I going to get? I think I'm going to get 2 in a row. Here we go. Simon, talk to me.
Well, first of all, Cecil, where were you? You told me that you were just MIA in Jersey. What happened? I got you this. I told you I was going to get you a cologne.
Bro, I was there. I was looking.
No. You walked away. You walked away before the interview started. You just went MIA, bro. So, but I'm gonna be in London. So hopefully I get your stuff. So I got the rock.
Give me a message. I'll bring you to the studios. It's good to see you again. I know, brother. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I think I was in the press with Mikel Arteta. But my brother, it's good to see you again. When you come to the UK, give me a message, social media, and because I will sort that out. But listen, let's get this Turkish that I said what from the last caller, but we'll get Turkish. I'll explain that. But anyway, your thoughts, my friend, on Thomas Partey. Are you with me?
Is he fighting
Laurie?
for the right?
Are you fighting for the right to Partey, or are you questioning his injury record?
First of all, I feel like we as Arsenal fans, we have a very, very short-term memory. A lot of the things that Rice have done so far this season, Thomas Partey did it like effortlessly last season. Let's be fair. Like, look at the goal he scored against Tottenham. When we went to the Tottenham Hotspur new stadium, he rocked the bar. He did everything. But, of course, at the end of the day, he fell. So, talking about influential players, he was like one of the most influential players of Arsenal last season. But, of course, we cannot discredit what William Saliba did as well. Also talking about selling him, well, it's I kind of understand what Cecil is talking about. He's 30 years old now. He is a solid player. Personally, I feel like he's a world-class player. Thomas Partey, I feel like he's a world-class player. But with his age, with his injury record as well, look at Cecil just made mention of Gabriel right now. Jesus, if he starts getting injured again, I feel like we should start having a very, very big conversation about that. So that's the same with Thomas Partey. Unfortunately, I'm Nigerian, very close to Ghana. He's very, very, very special for us. But I would say that Cecil has a good point. I'm going to be very, very honest with that. If you compare, for example, Partey with Xhaka, for example, Xhaka is always speed. He's like a steal. He was sold at a very, very good price. I feel like by next summer, if we get a good money for Partey, I feel like maybe we should listen. But that one we started. He's a very, very intelligent player.
Okay.
No, listen, man, I agree. And as I said right at the start of the show, I made a list of Thomas Partey's, what I see as his chief attributes. And I said, look, good positional awareness, good at pressing, good tackler, wins most of his duels, good dribbler, good in possession, provides good cover for the centre-backs and the full-backs, very good work rate, very influential. And, crucially, last season he was adding goals to his game. And as our previous caller said, Declan Rice scored and everyone's getting the pom-poms out, which, don't get me wrong, I'm with that. But let's not forget that Thomas Partey was very crucial to us last season. His injury record is not great, but I think we should give him more time. Let's see how this season goes before we throw the baby out with the bubble.
Well, listen, thank you so much for coming back and jumping on and having your say. But bro, like I said, give me a message. Thank you for your words, man. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon, yeah?
Nice one.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Elliot is waiting. Here he is. You're up close. Pull back, Elliot. Talk to me. Where are you at? I'm sure you like a little debate. So where are you at on this whole topic?
Here's the thing, guys. Laurie, Cecil, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
It's very
I'm
hot.
looking forward to this one.
I am good. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say on this topic.
Gentlemen, I wear the party kit that I have on right now for a reason. If you want, I'll turn around. This part.
Thomas. Yeah.
So here's the deal. I love this man. I think he's been a great contributor to the side. He's one of the best holding midfielders in the Premier League, if not the world. And that's been proven.
Yep. Okay, fair.
But something tells me this is his final year. Something tells me that, and as Laurie so eloquently said, this will be the year where Arteta has to make a decision. Do you sink or swim? Do you stick or twist? And the fact of the matter is, Thomas, as valuable as he is, isn't as valuable as he was 3 years ago, isn't as valuable as 1 year ago. I mean, it was really, really, squeaky bum time in terms of him being here this season. Because the rumors are flying at the offseason that he could go. And people were getting ready for it. They're bracing for it. Yeah. So he's on life support right now. I compare him to being on life support. His time at this club is somewhat on borrowed time at the moment. And this new injury just impacts things again. I think it'll be a choice between himself and Jorginho as to who stays. I think because they're both leaders of the within the club. However, it's all about your utility to the club that matters right now.
Partey was,
and as much as I love, Partey gives more than Jorginho, yes. But the fact of the matter is, Jorginho's available. Partey is not, especially in big fixtures like coming up right now against Man City. Partey's not there. So what are we gonna do? Are we going to only prop up a depreciating asset, or are we gonna look to Saudi Arabia and say, you know what, he's Muslim, guys, you may want to have a look at him, see what you can do. Let's see if we can come to a solution here, because I think there are better talents out. Well, I wouldn't say better talents, but younger talents. I don't think there are many better talents out there when Thomas Partey is in full flight. But in terms of younger talents, I think they're out there for all to see. Gravenberch would have been a great addition to this club. However, he's off the market right now. There are a few others out. There are a few others out there that can be put forth at the moment, and we have to be real with ourselves. He's a depreciating asset. He's not going to get it. I think he's at the peak of his value at the moment, and we have to seriously consider if he is ready to stay or ready to go. And to be fair, I think it is time that we put we cash in our chips.
Oh wow!
Okay. Well, listen. Actually, no. I was gonna end it there, but Elliot, I hear you. I think January it might be too soon, because I think there's still value for Partey in this.
No. I say no. He stays for the year. He does stay for the year. Let's face fact. He will be defined on the contributions he makes this year. If he falls under the bar in terms of his value to us this season, then it's time to go. If he is still as vibrant and as key and as vital an asset as he's always been, then we can reconsider that option. But I think it's going on in Arteta's mind to say, okay, what am I going to do here? What am I thinking? Because again, he's so talented, he's so brilliant when he's on the pitch. However, it's his availability, which is the best ability, that cancels him out of most great matches going forward. And to be fair and frank, guys, I love the guy. I think he's a supreme player. But the fact of the matter, he's got Africa. Remember, he's at African Cup of Nations again this year.
Yeah, I know. That's
he plays every minute of every match for Ghana, which he should. Yeah. But at the end of the day, once he comes back, guess what?
He's a level. Yeah, he's normally injured or he's never to a level that. Yeah, and that's also a big factor for it as well. But yeah, listen, Elliot, Thank you, my friend. Thank you, because I liked what you said, and it's nice to hear, you know, how much of a fan you are of the player. Because I think a lot of us are. This is not us bashing Thomas Partey. This is the fact that, you know, we are big fans and we understand his ability, but we've got to keep it real with what we're seeing when it comes to injury and availability for this side.
You gotta keep it real, guys. You gotta keep it real.
Yeah. 100%. Listen, Elliot, enjoy the rest of your weekend, my brother. Go on.
I want the same invitation. I want the same invitation, Cecil. I want that studio invitation. You gave it to someone else, and we met.
Elliot, you can have that as well. Listen, you can have that, my friend. You're a friend of the channel now, regular here, and anyone else as well. If you're regular and want to join the community, we can definitely bring you down to the studio. If you're over here, do give me a message. I'll see what I can do. I met the guy in New York as well, good guy as well. But big up, Elliot. Thank you.
Nice one, bro. Take care.
Thank you, Elliot, my brother. Love. Take care. Robbie's gonna be on me, boy. Doing bare invites in the studio. He's gonna be on my neck. But listen, I
thought that was a good call. That was fair, because basically what he's saying is, listen, the injuries are a concern, which is something that I said. And let's face it, no player is not expendable. I mean, when it comes to injuries and situations like this. But let's just see how the season pans out, because even this current injury, as I said before, people saying 6 weeks. We don't know that, because I recall a similar thing being said about Gabriel Jesus. And look, he was back in after 3 games. So let's see how we go.
Yep.
But I definitely say, without no hesitation, that Arsenal are a better team. Thomas Partey in it, playing in his right position. And I think that combination with him, Odegaard and Rice, was without doubt, that is one of the best midfield partnerships in the Premier League right now.
100%. And let me go into some of the super chats that have been coming through whilst I was on the fan zone calls. Demi returned with a super chat saying, I believe that he has a bad record, but truly we can't replace him skill wise. It's about getting suitable cover or competition. I don't like the word cover, because right now we have Jorginho, but you really want someone to push for that position and be malleable in other positions as well. Demi came back with 2 other super chats. The next one said, and Kai is great cover. I don't know for Partey, but okay. He come again. He or she said, I'd love to see some of these people in war. Interesting. DJ Brito Rabosh with a super chat says, Arteta is a good coach tactically, but not really good manager yet, in my opinion. Interesting. He's over or misused certain players over time. Still back him, but there's probably concerns. Obviously, that kind of probably leads to the positions that Arteta is trialing these players in, and they're not, you know, reaching the levels that we've seen in the Arsenal side. But this is a conversation I believe is
still
needed.
early days. We should point that out.
It's still early days. It's only been 4 games played, but it's early days and we're picking up an injury again. And people keep saying, you know, other players that have been injured. But I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure out of the main 11, Partey would have missed the most games. And I think Gabriel Jesus must be close second. So, and that's what I've mentioned. I've mentioned Partey is an injury concern for me as a fan at this stage. Jesus will be the next person I'll be looking at. And people are talking about what other options. There was plenty of options in the position that Partey plays in the summer window. I have amazing empathy. I believe I do. I just feel like, and trust me, I've been a player. I understand certain things, but I also understand high-level football and the fact that this is Arsenal Football Club and we're going, there's more pressure on Arteta.
You are right to flag it up. Absolutely. You are right to flag it up. All I'm saying is that I think the player deserves a chance. I think he was very good for us last season. Yes, his form did appear to tail off towards the latter part of last season. Who knows? Maybe the amount of games and the intensity. We all know how intense the Premier League is. Playing in midfield as well, that role, you're tackling, you're tracking back, you're twisting, you're turning, you're doing all kinds of things, and maybe it does catch up with you a little bit. And maybe Partey's got one of those kind of highly strung bodies where he's going to get muscle injuries. But I think on balance, he deserves a chance. I think, as I said before, he's one of our most influential players, and you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I keep saying that, and I truly believe that.
Okay, then just quickly, I know there's some comments then about no mention of El Neni, but I don't feel the need. I didn't feel the need to mention El Neni. I mean, he's
that's quite damning in itself.
But he got an extension. But I do see he got an extension because of an injury, and for good. It's a goodwill kind of extension.
And to be fair, El Neni he only cost $5 million from Basel, and let's be honest, he's more of a backup.
Yeah, and
he's not one of our mainstays. Which Partey, you know, as I said, El Neni for $5 million from Basel, Thomas Partey $45 million from Atletico Madrid. Very different. in terms of what they bring to the table.
That's what I'm saying, and it's a conversation that I think is needed more on Thomas Partey, not on El Neni. Jorginho, I think, filters into this conversation, but unfortunately El Neni. But before we wrap up, just some closing news that kind of went throughout the week. Firstly, just Saka. Can we just give him a round of applause real quickly?
Yeah, man, yeah. Star boy.
Let's big up Star boy.
Living up to that name.
I have to give him a clap just for the fact of the awards he's won in the past week. I have mentioned in other shows, but the young player, PFA Young Player of the Year, he was in the team of the season, for the PFA team of the season. He's been nominated for Ballon d'Or as well, which is massive.
England Player of the Year twice.
England Player of the Year, EE Player of the Year twice, back to back. Also
phenomenal.
And a few seasons ago, he got back to back wins for Season of the Year for Arsenal. Now he's got 3 of those currently.
And something that is that you didn't mention there, but I think is worth mentioning, is the fact that when he missed that penalty in the Euros, the amount of stick he got, so for him to bounce back in the way he does, not only shows his ability on the pitch, but mentally, the kid is very strong.
He is.
So we should highlight that and big him up for that as well.
The reason why I mentioned the 3 player of the seasons for Arsenal is because he has 3 of them right now. My king, Thierry Henry, has 4 player of the season for Arsenal. So Saka's got, I'm praying for
enough
many
time
more
on his side as well.
Yeah, to hopefully, you know, win more of those and maybe overtake the king himself. Now, lastly, to close the show, there is news. Nicolas Pepe. I'm going to read it. I think you probably would have seen it, but we'll have a quick, brief discussion as we close the show. That Arsenal's record former club signing of Nicolas Pepe, obviously people remember 72 million, has joined Turkish side Trabzonspor. Now, I hope I'm saying that right. Turkish will be watching and listening in on a free Trabzonspor. Thank you very much. On a free, even James is in the corner there correcting us. He's just shaking his head. On a free transfer, and yeah, that is the news. So Nicolas Pepe is now.
What I would like to say about Pepe, first of all, wish him all the best.
100%.
I, for one, do rate him as a player. I know some of the Arsenal fan base are not so sure about him. But I think he's a very talented player. And what I would say is this: just because it didn't work out for him at Arsenal doesn't mean to say that he's not a good player. So, you know, these things happen in football. He was spotted playing in the French league where he'd done really well. We all saw the videos of him bombing down the wing, beating players for fun, scoring goals. We thought he was going to be a really good addition to the team. There's no doubt he had the talent, and at times he did show it. He wasn't consistent enough. But these things happen, and I just want to place on record my thanks to him for his efforts while he was here, and I wish him all the best for the future.
Pepe, I just saw a comment. Pepe scored 27 goals in 112 games for Arsenal, and obviously he spent the last season on loan. But someone commented, and there must have been quick maths as I was going to bring this up. Pepe cost 2.7 million per goal, that is harsh. But listen, I
prefer not to look at things.
Yeah, we don't look at things like that.
Like I said, it didn't quite work out. But this happens. It happens to players countless other clubs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
In fact, some may argue that it works out less often, more times than it does work out for big money signings.
I would agree with that.
Doesn't make him a bad player.
And that as Pepe, listen, I was our record sign at 72 million, gone on a free transfer. Listen, I've had my thoughts on Pepe, and like the guy said, I've been on Thomas Partey, I was on Pepe as well, but I wish him all the best. He is a confidence player. I hope he finds his confidence over in the Turkish league and flies again. So big up Nicolas Pepe, but that he's now left the club. And that is it for today's Fan Zone. It is very warm. It's Friday, people. I hope you guys enjoy the weekend. And thank you everyone that joined us on here. Very simple to get involved. You've got to download the AFTV Plus app and you can click on Fan Zone. It's so easy to come straight onto the camera with us and have a say in these conversations around Arsenal Football Club. So make sure we see you at the next Fan Zone Live. Laurie, thank you so much for joining me.
It's a pleasure, man. I've loved it. And I look forward to having more of these debates in the coming weeks.
It was a very good one today. I very much enjoyed it. And make sure you guys check out all the content coming your way from AFTV. We've got plenty of content coming over the weekend. Even when there's no fixture, we'll be giving you the content that you need. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you again very soon. Enjoy your weekend. Take care, people. Peace.